Oh, is it you? Could it really be? I can't believe this. I am so shocked to see y'all. Let me get you down here where we can talk for a minute. I think I got you now. Let's climb down this ladder right here, because I was up there working on the house and it's getting just a little bit late. So I gotta apologize to all my friends and say if I don't fall off this ladder. And I gotta say, I'm very sorry that I have been away for so long, but I had certain things that I had to do. Okay, and during during the time that I was on YouTube for 3 years, I kind of let everything go. And that last video I did is like 6 or 7 months ago, I think. I just I just kind of did that video and didn't know I was going to quit filming. But when they made all the changes on Google Plus, as big a channel, I'm not bragging or anything, I'm just kind of telling it like it is, but as big of a channel as I had, and the way I ran my channel, the way I answered comments, the way with the changes, it made it impossible for me to answer all the comments anymore, so I just kind of had to walk away from it. But in the 3 years that I was on YouTube, I kind of let everything go. The gutters started falling off the house, paint started peeling, my boat tore up, it quit running, I never worked on it. My truck tore up, it broke down, I never worked on it. And I just basically let everything go so that I could film, because the videos took probably about a week to prepare sometimes. And not only did they take a week to prepare sometimes, but then it took another week just to film and edit them and upload them, because they were pretty involved. So anyway, and then it took about a week to 2 weeks to answer all the comments 3 times a day, because I always answered them. But anyway, I'd been asked by several friends to do an update video and just simply make coffee and talk. So anyway, let's go in the shop. I got an idea for something that I want to show that kind of stemmed from a letter I got. And I'm gonna make a little cook setup real quick out here in the yard, and then I probably have to make some coffee tomorrow morning, and we'll talk just a little bit more. So let's go inside the shop and we'll talk a little bit more. All right, we're back in the shop now. Seems just like old times, doesn't it? I remember the good old days when I used to film videos and I would be out here in the shop and you would be right there with me every second, watching over my shoulder, making sure that I didn't screw up. But anyway, amongst working on the house with the paint and the gutters and all that kind of stuff, and having to work on my truck and have to work on the boat, on top of that, Nick got his learner's license. So he kind of started complaining, and so of course naturally we had to work on the old 55 Chevy here. We did a little bit of body work to it, got it all ready to paint, got it straight again. So that was another project we worked on, and we got to put the glass in it and everything. So, but anyway, I'll get back to talking more about later on when we're brewing the coffee. I'll talk a little bit more about the future of my channel and when I'm going to start filming again and when I plan on it, because I have got tons of tricks left, and I have tons of projects that I want to work on that I have not done. So I thought, I don't like to waste anybody's time, so every time I get in front of a camera I want to try my best to show you just a little bit. Well, some things can't be explained, and a friend of mine sent me a message, and if you remember in the last video I made a thing called a twist disc. Okay, the twist disc was a little round thing with the 3 holes in it that you put on a tripod, and you twist it, locks into place, and then you use a piece of paracord to feed up and down to hold a pan or a pot over fire. Now that has always been my favorite tripod setup, and so I've always used it. And a friend of mine sent me a message, and he said that he had one that was no cordage. You didn't have to have a cord. Everything could come from out in the woods. Well, I couldn't picture what it looked like, and I was wondering if it looked like mine, because I actually have one that is a no cordage twist disc. But I didn't show it in the last video because I haven't used it in about 10 years. I just prefer the paracord. So I thought, you know, now would be a good time in case he's watching this video, he can see what mine looks like. And for those of you that want to make one, you know, I'm not going to make it with any fancy machines. I'm going to make it just as primitive and sloppy as I can. That way you can make one at home and you can carry it with you in your backpack. Alright, let's ease over here to my sloppy workbench. I'll get you down a little bit to where you can see what I'm doing. For this other twist disc, you just start out with like a piece of plywood that's like 1/2 inch thick. Okay, no big deal. I've already drawn this circle because I was going to make this thing like, I don't know, a few weeks ago, but then I thought, nah, I'll put it on the video. Okay, now just take you a paint can. Okay, this is what I did. Take your paint can and just draw around it. Okay, no big deal. There you go. Alright. Now, once you got your circle right here, you just grab your 3 washers. Can you still see? See, I'm not even used to filming anymore. And what you do is you take your 3 washers and you just kind of align them like that right there. You know, nothing fancy. I'm trying to do this just as simple as I possibly can. Okay. Alright, draw you up 3 circles. Okay, no big deal. I'm going to take a protractor, draw a line there, draw a line there, line there, and a line there. Okay? So what that's going to be, that is going to be my center line. Okay? Now, take a hole saw. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use hole saws. You might could use a drill bit and a smaller jigsaw. You put that on there, and then you determine about how big your hole is going to be. Okay? Alright, no big deal. Then you take your protractor and you put another little line out here. Now this may or may not work out. It may not work. I may look like a complete idiot. And what you want to do is you want to come about a 1/4 of an inch and draw another line. Okay? Very sloppy workmanship, but it's just rough anyway. Let me run you down here so you can see it a little bit. Side diameter is going to be roughly close, about 7 inch. Okay. All right. You got an outside hole, you got an inside hole, you got a line outside here, and then 3 holes. Okay. And then I'll show you step by step what we're going to do with it. First off, what we're going to do is I'm just going to take a standard jigsaw. Okay, with just a standard jigsaw blade, and I'm going to saw the outside out. Well, actually, I should saw the outside out last. I should drill the holes first. Okay, so I'm going to use 2 different size hole saws, a big one and a little one. That's southern for how we measure. This is going to be about 2.5 inch, and this one is going to be like 1 3/4. Okay, you know, just for reference. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do them, and I'm gonna do it with a plain old where's it at? It's over here. Okay, I'm not gonna do it with a fancy machine or anything. I'm just gonna use a plain old drill, hand drill, to drill these. So it's just, this is anything anybody can do at home. Okay, put this on here and clamp it down. And clamp. Okay. All right, and then got a piece of scrap wood under here that we're going to be drilling into. All right, take your hole saw and just drill a hole through it. No big deal. All right. Now, got that done. So what I'll do next, all right, we got 3 holes. They're awful close to the edge. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to make this just a little bit bigger. So I'm going to go ahead and mark it right now to make it a little bit bigger. Because these dimensions, none of these dimensions here are set in stone, you know. You just kind of make it, you know, just as quick and sloppy as you can. Because that's me, I'm a quick and sloppy kind of guy. Alright. I'm going to remark it. It'll work though, I know it'll work. It ain't like it's going to break. Look at all them lines. The lines of precision. Alright, now I'm going to take a big hole saw and I'm going to hole saw out the middle next. All right. Let's see what we got here now. We now have we got a large diameter with 3 outer holes and a hole in the middle. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is where this outside little ring is that is drawn on the outside diameter of this big hole, we're going to come in here and we're going to put, let's see, can you see that? Okay, I'm going to put like a hole right in the center there, and then one offset and one offset, and one right in the center, one offset, one in the center here, a little bitty one offset, a little off of it. Okay, we're going to kind of skip right in here. We're just going to put 3 holes. I had it up too high. We're going to put 3 holes right in here and here and here. Okay, on the very outside. Now this will make sense in a minute after it's done, but that's what I'm going to do next. Is I'm going to give it kind of a little bit of a center punch there so that the drill won't wander. Now I'm going to take a drill bit, and I'm not going to drill all the way through. I'm just going to drill the top. Oh, that went all the way through. Well, it doesn't hurt if you do, but there's no need in it. Yeah, heck. I guess I'll go all the way through with every one of them. It ain't going to hurt nothing. Hole, and then a series of 3 holes in between. Okay. Now you're going to take what's called a countersink. Okay. If you had to. Okay. Let me get my knife. If you don't have a countersink, you can take a small knife, because I know you as bushcrafters have a small knife. You can take a small knife and you can cut around just like that. Okay, and it'll take you just a little while. Okay, because what you're doing is dimpling it, but you don't have to do that if you got a countersink. So I'm going to countersink them. See how much faster it is? And you're making something to carry with you. And what you want to do with it, okay, what you want to do with it is when you're countersinking these, hold on, let me switch this thing over to macro. Okay, when you're countersinking these, you want to countersink them all the way over to the very, very edge of the wood, okay, which I have not done. And I will do that to show you. There you go, right there. Alright, now let me cut it back on. Macro, okay. See how it's countersunk all the way over to the edge? Alright, and I'm going to countersink all the rest of them. And then we'll cut it out. Hey, don't forget your safety glasses. Alright, now, all you got to do now is take the old jigsaw. I got my quick release thing on the blade. And battery. It goes in that way. Alright. And then you just start cutting on it. Then once you get it cut out, then you just sand everything. It's a piece of wood with a bunch of holes. Alright, now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to deburr and sand everything real good, and then I'll show you what it looks like, and then I'll say goodnight and I'm going to go in, and then we'll pick back up in the morning and I'll show you how this little jewel works. And see, this is even better because this is the type of disc that you can use with no cordage whatsoever. Okay, so let me deburr it real quick. Just however you like to sand things, with a sander or by hand or whatever, you just get all the burrs off and make it look decent. Alright, it's done. Well, it's done to my standards. Alright, these quick sloppy videos, I kind of like these. If I ever got time, I may do a few more. Hopefully when life slows down and the weather cools off, I'll get back to the long-term actual outdoorsy type videos. But anyway, that's basically it. That's the no cordage twist disc. There's nothing to it. And I'll show you the rest of it tomorrow, okay? Because it's kind of late and I'm tired and I had a rough week. So I'll be back out here tomorrow, and we'll go over to the old wood pile, and I'll dig out the machete, and I'll show you how to chop up what you need to use this. And then we'll make some coffee, and we'll have a little bit more of a talk. So I'll see you in the morning. Good morning, everybody. All right, it's the next morning, and I'm standing out at my wood pile, you know, where I do a lot of my chopping and storing and, you know, machete testing, things like that. Everybody should have a wood pile like that. And I got the no cordage twist disc here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna select some wood, and I'll show you what all you need to put this jewel to work. Okay, one other thing, if you ever have built a Royston pack frame and you don't have rope for straps, you can use these 3 eyelets here with paracord on the back of that pack to strap to the 3 sides. Okay, that's another use for that. Just a little trivia there. All right, I'm gonna gather up some wood and show you what all you need to make this work. What we're gonna do is we're gonna chop up the legs first. Okay, let's see. They're going to be probably about, limb that off, probably about right here. See if I can get it in one whack using the old Condor Warlock. I absolutely love this machete. See if I can get it in one whack. Nope, sure can't. This wood's been here for a while. It's a little dry. Alright, now with these, there's no reason to have a sharp point. You can have flat ends on them. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut some more legs just like that. Let's see. Now I think this piece right here is going to be just perfect for my pot hanger. I'll go ahead and cut it too while I'm here. Got it stuck. Oh, flip it over. There you go. Alright. And that's about the same way that you would cut out in the woods, because you'd have a downed log, not necessarily a chopping block. So I'm gonna cut the size of these holes. The reason that they don't really matter that much is because when you're in the woods, you're always going to be finding different diameters of sticks and, well, legs for your tripod. Now, if you use something real small, you're going to wind up having to lean it way back, okay, which isn't good. You can't twist with it, which is the idea behind the twist disc. So what I have done is I got the biggest ones that I could find that would closely fit into the hole, and one of them I even had to trim a little bit up on the top. Okay, so the way you do it is you hold all 3 together. Okay, see if I got you in camera here. It's kind of hard to film this when you're putting it together. Yeah, see, let me move this over a little bit. Okay, now I got you in camera. Okay, what you want to do now is you want to try to even these up a little bit as best as you can. Get them where there's just a little bit going. Okay, now when you think you've got it like this, I'll raise you up a little bit. When you think you've got it right, you give it just a little bit of a twist, and it should lock into place. You may have to spread them out a little bit as you do it. You can see now you're locked in place. Okay? Alright, now we're going to go with the pot holder now, the part where you don't need any cordage to hold your pan. Okay, so let's work on that next. I'll show you how to do that. Some of you know how to do it, but I'll show you. I'll try to explain it as easily as I can. First off, what you want to do, let's see. Wasn't even ready. Okay, you want to take and you want to trim off all of the little knots and things on it. Okay, you want to make it kind of as smooth as you can. Okay, I'll do a couple of them, and then you want to kind of trim the end just a little bit. You know, no sharp edges. Okay, now you lay it on a log. I'm not doing this on a chopping block, because I'm doing it as if you were actually going to be out in the woods. Okay, now let me get this over here. Oh, let's see. You can carve it, but what I like to do is baton it. You can just carve with a knife. My favorite is a good mora. Okay. Now, the way you're going to do this is you're going to hold the blade. You're going to enter the wood straight. Okay. I think I got the camera angled where you can understand it. You turn it at an angle this way, but you're going to enter the wood straight. Okay. Beat it in. Okay. Turn it at an angle this way and beat it straight in. Okay. Now, we just put it straight in. Okay. What you want to do this time is angle the knife this way and go parallel to it and beat it in. Okay. See, I was straight in, I'm moving over parallel, I'm angling the knife, and I'm going to beat it in. Okay. And then you want to beat it in this way. You're going to trim a little bit off right here. And you want to do it just a little bit at a time. Okay. I'm going to trim in here just a little more. Straight in. Straight in. And then I'm going to come in at an angle. And beat it in. Okay. Beat this in at an angle. Okay. Alright, now, and then you're just going to trim some right in here. And then you're going to, right here at this point, you're going to start undercutting it. And you just continue to trim like this. Okay. Now, once you've got it done this way, you can kind of see the way it looks. Then what you're going to do is you'll trim, you'll just start cutting into it like this right here. Okay. You may want to set it down here and cut a little bit more like this. You just want to slowly start cutting into it. And then you're going to start trimming some here. Okay. And that is exactly how you do it. Now, before I show you how this works, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and show you and see how when you wind up with it, it's going to wind up looking like this. So what you want to do is when it winds up looking like this, you want to take your knife. Let's see if I can get this on film. You want to take your knife, can you see that? And cut at an angle. And see how I've angled that? You want to cut in as much as you can. See how I just turned that into an angle? I'm undercutting it right here. You can even cut like that. Okay? Alright. Now I'm going to run and show you another thing before I finish that jewel up. And then we'll make coffee. I got something outside my shop I want to show you real quick. Okay? Okay, this little jewel here is called the Burtonsville rig. And I have kept it set up outside of my shop so that I can make coffee, boil water, whatever. Okay? Now, the limitations between this and what I'm doing over here with the tripod is this long stick hanging out here can't hold up as much weight as that tripod. It's kind of limited. You can't hang like a big chili pot or anything. And another thing, you got two forked sticks right there that have to be stabbed into the ground, and then the long main stick has to be stabbed in the ground. Okay? Well, if you're on a rock surface or a hard surface that you can't hardly get anything into, then you're very, very limited, because if you put too much weight on there and that's not stabbed into the ground, that's going to fly up out of the ground. So this is a nice rig, and this is all made from stuff in the woods. You don't have to carry anything with you but a knife. But anyway, and let me show you something else right here. The way the pot hanger works, like I'm going to use on the other one, is there's several notches in it so that it is adjustable. Okay. Now, when I was at the blade show the other day, I was talking to my friend James, and he showed me his new knife, and we were fooling around and stuff, and I carved a pot hook, and then the pot holder hanger, I showed him what it is. It's undercut and cut across the top and got a dimple in it. And he usually just cut the top and the bottoms, and he didn't know to cut the sides. And you know, if you're looking at this Jamie, that's the reason right there, is because it gives it even more infinitely adjustable movement. Let me move this back a little bit so you can see. see that thing, it'll literally, it'll move around anywhere. Let me come on back a little bit more. I'll go over there and I'll show you how much it swings. And say when you get done with it, when you get done with the coffee and you just want to keep it warm, you move it up way above the fire. See, that springiness right there limits you. The springiness limits you. Now let's go over and let's look at the other rig and I'll show you what the advantages of it are. And this is the end where the pot hangs. I got to go get the coffee pot in a minute with the water in it. I'm gonna make it I'm gonna make some bush coffee, Moore's Kohansky style, for those of you that hadn't seen it. But anyway, you have the pot hanger on one end, and then the other end, you've got all the notches. I know a lot of you have made these before, okay? So a lot of you have a walking stick made this way, okay? Now the reason that you have so many of these holes on the edge with the dimples is because that's where the pot hanger hangs, okay? And if you break one off, you have another. See, you can just move it around anywhere you want to. And maybe it kind of gives you a little bit of movement there for the fire, okay? So you got movement around there for location of the fire, and then you've got a height adjustability for it, okay? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have to back the camera away so that you can see how this goes in, because there's no opening for this, and when you got the pot hanging from it, you can't go through this way. But no matter what the length is, you can come up under and hang. And I'll kind of show you how that looks in a minute. I'll back the camera up. When you have one of these this way and you want to hold a pot or pan or whatever, or coffee kettle, you can hang it from there, or you can even hold it out like this. See, and it won't fall off. That's what's the beauty of the pot hook, okay, for a pot holder, pot hanger, whatever you can call it. And you just drift it up under. Put it in and see. Then you're hanging right over the fire and you're adjustable then. Lift it up. Lift it up. You can lift it up that high, way above the fire, so that you can keep whatever is in your pot warm without burning it. Lower it down. All right, let's get a fire going. And oh, I want to show you one more thing that somebody was asking me about. Asked me one time about pine knots and fat wood. They said that they couldn't find any. You know, that orange stuff that smells good like pine sol. So they said they couldn't find any. Well, if you find an old dead pine tree laying around, and you find something that looks kind of similar to this, yeah, it's not orange, but it's a knot. Okay, it's a knot out of a pine tree, and the inside of it is the good stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna show you what it looks like once you cut into it. Now, another thing that's very extremely important that I need to tell everybody is whenever you're splitting these knots, don't ever split a knot with a machete. Okay, because if you do, you stand a good chance of breaking your machete. Okay, you can baton with a machete, but you will probably break one. You may not break it every time, but about 50% of the pine knots will break your machete. You need to use an axe, okay? So let's see if I can split this in the first time so I can get down to the orange part and show you what it's going to look like, okay? All right, there you go. See the inside of it? There's not a lot of pine in this thing, but see the inside part right there? That's the color. That's what you're looking for, okay? We got a little bit more color to it. See that dark color on the inside? That's what you're looking for, and I'll show you how flammable that is in a minute. And you can smell it too. It smells like pine sol. See? All right, we'll carry that over there, and I'm going to use that as a fire starter. Matter of fact, I may. When it gets to this point and you can see that the grain is all straight, you might could use a machete then. And see, that right there would be like the little piece that you would carry with you in your backpack for trimming off. It smells strong. That's what we'll carry over there to use for trimming up for our fire. We're making the bush coffee Moore's Kohansky style for those who haven't seen it. And now what it is inside the pan we have, you want to use 1 cup of water for every scoop of coffee, okay? So I'm using 5 scoops of water, but you want to leave 1 scoop out. So I have 4 cups in here, and I'm going to put 5 scoops of coffee, okay? Now, what you do is before you put the coffee in, you put the pot over your fire and or intended fire, okay? And hang it over. Now, the reason, and I'll show you right here. Down here, I have an extra thing of water right there. So you have an extra thing of water in your dipper, okay? Keep it to the side, keep it cold, okay? Now, if you're putting the water, I mean if you're putting the coffee into the, I've noticed that if you put the coffee into the pan before you put it over the fire, you'll wind up splashing a bunch of it up on the sides as you're hanging it over the fire. Okay, so, and you want to start with cold water. Okay, good cold water. And then you take the grounds, put them right in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now, and you don't stir them in. Now, you see how I haven't splashed them all up on the sides? Okay? Because if you splash them all up on the sides, they're just going to burn. Alright? Now, I'm going to show you how to prepare. Next, I'm going to show you how to prepare that little piece of fat wood to light the fire. And then this will be ready to go. Okay, now I've got my pot hanging over there with the water and the coffee in it. Got a little bit of wood under there. It doesn't really take much. Okay. Now I'm going to show you, and I'm using, well, I'll show you about what my machete is, because people always tend to ask. Okay. Now, a lot of times, when I say don't baton with a machete, these knots, I'm talking about as a whole knot, because you don't know what's inside. Once you get down into the side here to where you know the grain is straight and not curvy, then you'll be okay. But what this outfit is right here, for anybody that wants to know, is the machete itself is a Condor Warlock with a micarta handle. Okay, and the small knife that I have piggybacked to it is the Condor Woodlaw. Okay, it's a great bushcraft knife. Got a Scandi grind. Okay, so anyway, all right. Once you get to this point right here, what you want to do is you want to take the bigger knot and you want to kind of baton a little bit off of it. Okay, a lot of people say, I've heard on a lot of forums people nagging saying, oh, I've never had to baton before. Well, you can't use, when it comes to pine knots, it ain't like you can just use a big hunk. Okay, you need to split it off into smaller pieces like this, okay, for it to work. Now I'm going to save this hunk here. I'm just going to kind of split this up a little bit. The way to baton this without cutting your fingers off, some people will hold it this way and do it to get it started. That's the absolute safest way. And then some people will take it like this right here and give it a gentle tap. Okay, but that can still be dangerous. I've gotten cut both ways, because if you're doing that, you can still slip. Okay, once again, you can hold it on either side and get the blade started. Okay, because you're holding it like this. Your hand is on the wood. Okay, get it started. Okay, get that batoned up. I'm gonna save this hunk too. Well, now I'm gonna go ahead and baton it up. All right, I'm gonna move them, and I got a bigger piece that I batoned that I'm gonna use to lay right on top of the fire. I'm just gonna lay all these right here like this. Crisscross, that way you'll get more air. This is big enough that I can hold on to it on one side. That's another way of doing it too, is you can just slam it like that. Sometimes you'll lose it. Alright. Now I'm going to stack all these up. I got all these pieces. I'll just lay them on the blade. Now the way to get a ferro rod to take, let's see, where did the other part go? Well, I'll just take one of these. Now to take your smaller knife and you want to trim it up. Take the most orange, red piece that you can find and trim it up. Sometimes it's kind of hard to trim up. Here, let me move the camera. And as many little pieces, and I say I'm losing them, they're slinging everywhere. The smaller, the thinner the pieces that you can get, the better the chance that you're going to have of your ferro rod striking it. Of course, all you're trying to do is you're trying to get the ferro rod to going, to getting any kind of flame going. Then once the flame's going, you can lay the other pieces on. Okay, now I'm gonna stop right there. I dropped a piece right there. Okay. I'm gonna stop right there, and then when I get done, I'm gonna lay these other pieces on, and then I'm gonna lay it on the fire. I think I'm gonna move this out a little bit so that you can see. Okay. All right, let's get out my ferro rod. Where'd it go? Here it is. All right, got my ferro rod with my little homemade striker. Okay, can you see what I'm doing? There you go. Look at that, there's a glare on the camera. Which way do I need to go? It'd be easier to move the camera, wouldn't it? All right, lay this on. Sometimes it takes several blasts of sparks. There you go. And you'll see that the smoke, as soon as you got a flame, lay another one over it. See, it takes a minute for the bigger stuff to catch on fire. That's the reason why you want to cut it up into shavings. Alright, I'm going to move this over to the fire. I'm going to move this over to the fire. And then I'm going to lay a couple more of these on. You'll notice when you have real fat wood too, you'll notice that it's going to put off like a black smoke. So you just lay a couple on there. This will be really great for if it's like a rainy day and everything's damp. Oh, you can really hear that piece bubbling. See, look at the flame coming off of that. Look at that. Okay, now once you've got a dead serious flame going, wait a minute, take the orange side. You want to try to use the orange part if you can. Oh, don't knock it over. Okay, now what I'm going to do is let me lean you up just a little bit. I'm going to take a pile of sticks and hold it over it. And this will eventually catch. Actually, I've got that fat wood on there, so I think I can just lay these on it. Yeah, it's catching. And then I'll just start putting some of these smaller sticks up on top. Let me back you up a little bit. Oh. There you go. Alright, now I'm going to let that, you can see that's coming up. Let me crank you up a little bit. I've already wasted 4 minutes. Alright, once that fire gets to going real good, I'm going to lower the pot down over it. It doesn't take that much wood. Okay, I got the coffee brewing right there, and as you can see, it's on the fire is just going to take care of itself. And I've got it on the stand right there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and lower it down one. Let me ease you down here towards the fire. Lower it down another, because I want to put it right above the fire. And so you can kind of move it around there. so that it's right above the flame. Once the fire dies down, I can put it on there just a little bit more. Or I'll crank it down a little bit. Alright, now what you want to do is you want to start with the cold water, like I said. Okay? And you'll be able to see it as it's starting to heat up. See, I can see that the flames are over towards the side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to move it over here a little bit. And see, the cool part is the bigger hole you put in the middle of that thing, the more adjustable it can be over the flame. Okay, that's going to sit there for a minute. And what it's going to do is, that right there, the reason you don't stir it and the reason you just want it sitting on the top is because as the water starts bubbling and foaming, it's going to pull the grounds in, okay? And once it comes to a boil, you let it boil for 60 seconds and 60 seconds only. Because you got to think about something. A stupid percolator that you have, old coffee machine in the house, those coffee machines, all they do is make the water hot and pour it through the grounds one time. What you're doing right now with this is the water's getting hotter and hotter and hotter, and it's starting to soak into them grounds, okay? And as it's soaking, and as the water starts boiling, the water's aerating, putting oxygen in, okay? So the second it starts boiling, 1 second, count 60 seconds and pull it off. And then I'll show you how to get the grounds to fall to the bottom. I say I got to move it over here already. Move it over here just a little bit. Try not to splash it around too much because you'll put the grounds up on the sidewall. Now, as far as me and videos and my life, I'm still very busy. I got a million things to do, but I got a lot of projects planned, and I got a lot of radical ideas that I still want to put on video. Okay? Now, as far as that goes, the comments, I used to answer all comments, but I'm not going to be answering comments anymore like I used to. But I'm going to try my best. I'll read them all, but I just can't go through and answer every single one of them. Okay? But I'm going to try my best to go through and read them, and I will try to answer questions. Now, I want to say this right now. I don't want anybody to think that I'm shunning them, because I don't know what the deal is, but the way the new YouTube is, when I bring up the comment section, sometimes it's got a reply button under certain people, and some people don't. And I don't know why. I don't know what the deal is, because I thought everybody had to be on Google Plus to comment, period. Or are they commenting from a cell phone? I don't know, but I can't answer those. So don't think I'm shunning you or nothing, you know. But anyway, and when it cools off, and another thing too, that I've changed, Google's changed, YouTube's changed, you know. I can't run my channel the way I used to because of them, and my life has gotten busy, but you know, and y'all are all used to seeing them 40 and 50 minute videos, and you know, I want to get back to them someday when it cools off and I get to go actually camping again. But you know, as I have time, I may throw out a few videos like this where I'm just off goofing off in the backyard, or somebody sends me a message, you know, I may post a video showing something, you know, like this setup here. You know, this little jewel is right here. Now that's burning down. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to set it down closer to the fire. Okay. And I think I did. Lowered way down. And you know, you can kind of see there's white steam starting to come off the top of it. And see, the cool thing about this is it's instant. I mean, because of the process of doing it this way, it's super, super hot. But when it starts boiling, you pull it off the fire. And when you add that extra cup of cold water, it shocks the grounds. That cold water, and you pour it from a height. You hold it up about 3 or 4 feet up above it, and you pour it, and when it hits it, it shocks the grounds. They absorb the cooler water, and they sink to the bottom. Because with liquid, just like air, heat rises. So when it grabs a hold of that cold water, it absorbs it, shocks it, grounds hit the bottom. And then you just dip out what coffee you want. It looks like it's fixing to start boiling here in just a minute. I would get you a little closer, but I can kind of feel the heat, and I don't want it messing up the camera. You know, I ain't buying another camera. All right, I'm gonna cut it off, and when it starts boiling, I'll count to 60. All right, it's not quite boiling yet. See, fire's still going. All of those little pieces that I laid on top, because I stacked up larger pieces. I think y'all call it an upside down fire. I just call it a fire. Because this is the way I've always done it. I've just put wood like that, and then I've put you know, the stuff on top of it there. I may have to put a little bit more wood on it though, because I don't quite have, I needed another notch on that. I may have to put a little wood on there. I'm not real sure if it's going to boil or not. Okay, I just cut the camera back on because it's starting to boil. See the bubbling? Now I may have to raise it up if it starts to boil over. That's the reason why you want to use a gigantic pot. You don't want it boiling over. Okay, I got the camera at 15 seconds, Scud. Now see, it's moving it around. I threw a few more sticks on the fire to get the flames up. And okay, we're now at 26 seconds. So you can see why you didn't have to stir it. And you can also see around the very edges right there, well, I don't know if the camera can, how it's stuck. That way, if you'd have slung coffee all over the sidewall, it would just burn to it. Okay, it's still boiling. Still boiling. We're at 47 seconds. Okay, I'm fixing to pull it off. Any more than that and the coffee starts getting bitter, because you got to remember, you have already made the coffee. You've been heating it. Okay, that's it. 60 seconds. That's all you want. You might be tempted because you got plenty of fire left to want to go more, but you don't. Okay? I can't even see the camera. Can you see that? Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it on the ground. Okay? Now right now that coffee is completely full of grounds. Okay? So what I'm going to do, that coffee is completely full of grounds. I'm going to take that cup of water right over there and I'm going to pour it from a height. And when I do, it is going to shock the grounds. Okay? Got the coffee right, I mean my dipper right here. Pour it from a height. And that's all you got to do. Some people tap on the side. Some people tap on the side of the pan. Let it sit for a minute. And see, since that was super extremely hot on the fire, of course the fire's going, it wasn't that much wood, but I've got the fire going still. But anyway, now since that was extremely hot and I added that last cup of cold water, another thing is if it's too strong, you can always add more water, you know. I don't see if there's any grounds in it. I don't know if I can pick it up on camera or not. And what you want to do with your scooper is you want to just barely scoop it off the top. Now as you can see off the very top, there are no grounds in that coffee, because all the grounds are down in the bottom. They are shocked down to the bottom. Alright, let's get a cup and I'll say goodbye, because it's Saturday and I gotta upload this video and get back to working on the house. And see, it's still hot. Still very extremely hot. Now don't, like I say, don't start with warm water, start with the cold water. Okay, because it screws it up. It's got something to do with the oxidation process. That's what Morris Kohansky says. He calls it bush coffee. My grandparents used to just call it boiled coffee. Alright, let me move the camera and we'll have a little talk and I'll say goodbye. Alright, that's the funny thing too. When you get done, that little hole up there, it's a good place to hang your dipper. But anyway, oh, something else. Let's see, I'm just going to set that right there. And I'm going to, you don't want the coffee to boil again, okay? And I don't think it's going to cool off. I don't think it's going to cool off in the summertime. But in the wintertime, what you want to do is you want to hang it back over the fire at the highest level. Okay? Now, let's try the coffee. This is supposed to be the finest coffee in the world. No matter what kind of grounds you use. Perfect every time. If I may say so myself. It's fantastic. Now, if you did exactly the way I tell you to, or the way I've shown you to, it's fantastic. Bring a bowl with you to the campsite next. Or, you know, it's not really a backpacker thing. It's more of a camp out, bushcraft, get together type thing. But it's really good coffee. If you have a son, during the summertime, take him out in the shop, whatever. You know, he'll get a kick out of it if you'll make you a twist disc, either kind, with cordage or without. Set you up a TP, you know, tripod. Tripod. Cook some food, make some coffee, whatever. Get out in the backyard, you know, just spend time, enjoy your summer. I got a lot to do this summer. I'm nowhere near done. Don't completely write me off yet as a video maker. I'm alive, I'm here, I'm just not making videos, but I'm going to one day. And I'm getting more along the lines of, since I can't answer comments, I just read them all. I usually just answer questions. Now more than ever, when I get back into filming, I'm thinking about filming the really radical ideas because, you know, simply put, if somebody says something I don't like, I just delete it. That's the beauty of being in charge. But anyway, I don't want to sound like a jerk or anything, but I know all my fellow video makers, you know what I'm talking about. You know, people can be just a touch mean, you know. But anyway, I hope I didn't waste too much of your time. Hope you learned just a little bit, you know, about tripods and fat wood and coffee. You know, maybe there's something you can use. So anyway, I had a great time. I really missed all of y'all, and I've kind of lost my mojo in a way. I kind of feel weird in front of a camera. I don't feel like I used to, because used to be when you was making videos once a month, you know, I don't know, it's different. But anyway, we made coffee, we had to talk. You're updated. I'm still alive. I still love all y'all. But I gotta go work on the house now, and there ain't no telling what Nick's got me doing. So anyway, cheers. Y'all enjoy y'all summer, and when the cool weather comes back, hopefully I'll be back by then. I'll see you in the next one.